Well, another day later, I'm still waiting for this piece of wood to dry. I'll start putting heat to it after a bit. It's starting to dry out. I'm finding the weaknesses in it as it does. But can't really work on that until it's dry. As soon as it is, then we'll start working on that specific type of throw stick. I had to come up with something to show you in the interim. Get you in the stand here so I can point out what I come up with. This. Got a stick with a little divot on one end, another strap over it. Now you might be wondering what that's for. I'll show you a golf ball. Originally these would have been used with rocks, but golf ball is easy to find right now, so I happen to have one on the table. It's called a throwing stick, but it's not a stick that you throw. It's more of a stick sling as opposed to a sling staff. This one is nowhere near historically accurate in any way. It's just stapled to the end. Just functional, just to show you how it works. It's a Cree creation, actually. Now, by the time European immigrants encountered these, they were already centuries beyond being used for anything involving hunting. They were considered a children's toy, and kids would put a rock in their stick and throw it and compete to see who could throw it the furthest. So, although it would be functional for hunting small game, there are far more efficient ways to do so. So this, I'm going to take out in the backyard. Let's see if we can manage to throw something straight. That didn't work. Well, that was fun. And it is a really simple project anybody can make. I wouldn't trust this one for hunting. Took a little bit of work for me to get it to work. 3 or 4 throws later, I finally got it to fly. And the range ain't that great on it. This one's a little shorter than it should be. I mean, they're supposed to be around 2 feet. But the scrap I had on hand was 19 inches long. See? 19. Should have been 4 or 5 inches longer. And the scrap of leather I had was a little wider than should be. Still, it's a fun toy. Maybe someday I'll make one properly. But for right now, I'm just using it to kill time until that piece of driftwood is dry enough for me to work on. Alright, so that's one more ancient technology in the bag. Okay, place is a mess right now. We're going to take a second try at this Cree sling stick. This one here did not work. We had the handle too short. It's a scrap material. It was a proof of concept test. But handle's too short. I have not, well, strap's too wide, and I have not mastered the timing for releasing it. But I want to actually succeed in this, so got another stick. I'm going to take and mark where I'm going to put the hole. A little divot. Mark the shape on here. Make the handle longer. I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to drill that little divot into it. And I'm going to cut the strap thinner and reattach it. I'll show you when I've got the shape marked on it. Okay, so here's the general shape we're going for. I'm going to keep this as the long handle. It's going to be a little over 2 foot long. And the paddle end. So I'm going to cut that out with great effort. So it'll look like a very small paddle, but I'll cut that out. I will take the rasp and round the shape onto it, but I'll show you as soon as it's cut out. It's not an extremely technical bit of work, but well, I want to do this right. I don't like having failed on the last one, even though it was just testing out the idea. I want to try a whole lot of these different small game hunting tools from various cultures around the world and across North America specifically. So I'll cut that out and then I'll show you the next step. Figured I might as well show you some of the long and tedious process of cutting this thing out. Now I know the ancient people who came up with these were not using Cree cut lumber and crosscut saw or combination saw, but there's only so much accuracy I can handle. Okay, far from perfect, but it's as good as it needs to be for right now. As good as I can do it anyway. I'm not worried about the splitting down here at the end, because that's the handle. That's where I'm going to be holding it from. Not going to be a lot of pressure on that. Straight enough considering it was done with a handsaw. Let's get that up here so you can see a little better. Relatively straight. And at least straight enough. So I'm going to take the rasp, I'm going to shape down the curve and round this handle. It's kind of square, as you can see. So yeah, I'll shape that down. I'll round and shape down the end as well. And then I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so the new stick. Got it rasped down into shape roughly. I'm going to sand it. Once I sand it, I'm going to have to drill that divot in here where the ball's going to sit. As you can see, there's, well, can't quite see. Get to a point where you can see. As you can see, there's a huge difference in the size between these two things. This is the proper length. You want it a couple of feet or longer, a little over 2 feet long. Get in a measurement. This one is 29 inches, so 2'5". But I'm going to sand that down, drill that little divot, and for the strap, I'm going to drill a hole above the divot so that the strap will go through and attach at the back. I'm also going to have to take the strap and cut it in half, lengthwise. So I'll get out a straight edge and a roll knife, and cut that. Because it's 1 inch wide right now, it should have a 1/2 inch wide. So I'll do that. Then I'll proceed with the sanding and drilling. Okay, well, now that this has been sanded, it's looking a little more authentic. Didn't quite sand out the ink on there, but a couple of spots don't matter. But it's smooth. It's a good shape. It's nice and light and whippy, which is what I need. Now, I've got to get out the bits and drill the divot there for the ball. Drill a hole above it for the strap to go through. And we'll see what it looks like. Okay, now this is all sanded down. It's time to drill a couple of holes. Sooner or later, it's going to be time to clean this table off so that I have room to set this camera somewhere. Line up with this pivot. There we go. Now we can see what we're doing. So this one we don't want an actual hole all the way through, just a divot enough to put the golf ball into. Let's see if that's enough to hold it. Yep. There's that one. This next one's going to go all the way through. Got to change a bit. I have to say, as much as I like and appreciate ancient technologies, Paleolithic through Neolithic tools, greatly appreciate power. See, now it's going to sit there, so we're going to want the hole slightly above it. So about there. Didn't go through yet. Surprising, I thought it had. There we go. So not perfect, but functional. That'll sit there. Strap will come out that hole, go over it, be held down at the handle. So I will put let's see if I can find that strap. Set them here somewhere, which means nothing because it could be anywhere, but there it is. I'll run that through here, and I am just going to staple it on the back. I could, I suppose, tack it or tie it somehow, but I'm just going to staple it because I'm lazy. That, functionally, that's how it's going to work. And when you release the strap, the ball releases. So I'll staple that down. And then, yeah, I'll staple that down. I'll get the strap the right length, and then I'll show you. So, here's what we got so far. I'll get you away from the mirror there to get confusing with the multiple images, but the staple in the back don't look too good, but it don't look too bad. Holds everything in place. Quick bit of very ugly stitching to hold that together. Get the right length of string. Ball goes in, strap goes over it, holds it for the length, and when you swing the stick and let go of the strap, the ball will come out. Let's go try that out, and then I'll oil it. As long as everything works is good. I'm probably going to be no good at throwing it, but I'll give it a shot. Alright, let's give it a test throw. Alright, well, it is operational. I'm obviously a terrible shot with it, but just a flick of the wrist, essentially. Don't really need to put a lot of pressure into it. Got a good distance like that, just one shot. All in all, I'd say it's got some advantages over a throw stick in some instances. Might not be able to take down as big a game. Might be more difficult to learn how to aim it. Get power behind it. Yeah, that's right, kitty. But at least with this, you're not throwing your weapon. You're not throwing your stick. You keep the stick, you just throw the rock. A handful of rocks on one of these would be a lot easier to carry than a whole bunch of sticks. So let's I'll oil this up and then show you what it looks like when it's all pretty. Alright. So I got this oiled up. It looks a lot nicer with oil on it. Darkens the color a little bit, same as the other three here. So as far as our ancient technologies, should be using a golf ball sized rock instead of an actual golf ball, but that'll do for now. So we now have a Cree sling stick. Very effective. Interesting bit of technology. Interesting idea for how to get things done, how to get your projectile downrange. That goes alongside some 300,000 to 400,000 year old technology, some non-existent speculative fantasy technology, and some worldwide effective technology. So we got our throw stick, our rabbit stick, our Shonagon torpedo, our fantasy dagger, and our Cree sling stick. Yeah, that's a pretty good arsenal, I think, for, well, Stone Age. Alright. That should do it for today. Like, share, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of thing. And we'll talk to you next time.